ask the faculty and alums to be seated, please? On behalf of Converse University and the Professional Leadership Program, welcome to the hooding ceremony for the class of 2024 doctoral candidates. As we begin our program, I would like to take a moment for some housekeeping items. We would ask that all cell phones be turned to silent or placed on vibrate so as not to cause an interruption. Bathrooms are available that way and to your right and back. A photographer, as you can see, will be taking a picture of each graduate as they are hooded, and will be taking photos of the Converse backdrop after the ceremony. We know that some families will want to take their own snapshots. We ask that only one family member per candidate come forward. We have a space reserved right there in front, designated with black tape. Oh, right in front. I would like to recognize the members of the platform party who will be participating in this evening's activities. Dr. Boone Hopkins, President of Converse University. Dr. Joe Wilford, Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs. Dr. Lee Gibbons, Chair of the Professional Leadership Program. Dr. Keisha Gilliam, Director of the Masters in Management and Professional Leadership and Assistant Professor. Dr. Jeff Martin, Assistant Professor of Professional Leadership. Dr. Jack Knight, Assistant Professor of Professional Leadership. And I am Jean Medford. Although they are not on the platform party, this evening would not be possible without the efforts of Mrs. Helen Landmesser, former campus manager for UCG, and Mrs. Kaylee Jones, current campus manager for UCG. We would also like to recognize Mr. David Taylor and his administrative staff here at the University Center of Greenville, Lynn McWhirter and Jay Gall, for their tremendous support this evening and for providing this wonderful venue and the refreshments for our ceremony. At this time, please join me in welcoming President Hopkins to the podium.
Thank you, Dean Medford. Good evening, everyone. I am Dr. Boone Hopkins, Converse University's president, and on behalf of all of our faculty and staff, I welcome you to our doctoral hooding ceremony for the Doctorate in Professional Leadership. I know this is an incredibly important day for our graduates, as it should be. You are all part of a very small group who had the dedication and perseverance to pursue a doctorate degree. In fact, data from the World Population Review highlights that only 2% of the world's population has a doctorate. 2%. Now, while we're looking at percentages, I think it's important to note a few other unique groups that fall into this 2% bracket. For example, did you know that 2.2% of the global population drives an electric vehicle? The American Veterinary Association claims that 2.5% of households own a bird as a pet. 2% of the world's population has green eyes, making that the rarest eye color in the world. And in a 2023 survey, only 2% of respondents claim to have visited all 50 states. So there you have it, birds, green eyes, electric vehicles, avid travelers, and doctoral degrees, unique in every possible way. In all seriousness, reaching this milestone was no easy task. And I am so grateful for the passion and perseverance that has brought you to this day. This program of study requires the deepest commitment from our students. And by association, it requires deep commitment from your family. Graduates, please join me tonight in showing our appreciation for the family and friends who have supported you throughout your journey to this degree. Thank you. Today's hooding ceremony celebrates the achievements of our fourth cohort, representing 19 doctoral students. This is a distinctive and important recognition to honor academic scholarship at the highest level. The hood is lined with purple and gold, the official colors of our university, and reserved for those individuals who have obtained academic degrees beyond the bachelor's degree. The research that our students presented to the faculty has represented a tremendous span of topics that are relevant to our lives today and attempt to answer some very important questions for our society. The variety and complexity of this scholarship speaks for itself. Your dissertations were reviewed by experts in your field, authors, and community leaders. Our faculty also reviewed thousands of pages of your final research manuscripts during the dissertation development process. When you consider the number of reviews required to complete the study, we are talking about each member of your committee reading roughly 10 books in order to support you. Let us please take a moment to appreciate and express gratitude to those who mentored you throughout this process. Tonight, graduates, you will receive your doctoral hoods. And on Saturday, you will receive your diplomas. But your connection to Converse does not end here. As you move forward in your lives and careers, I encourage you to consider opening doors for others, like others have opened doors for you. Remember, whenever
In fact, this year, 2024, we celebrate 60 years of graduate education at Converse. Our first graduate program started in 1964. These graduates came into the program, this cohort, this fourth cohort, and our first three cohorts as we were building the plane as we were flying. Their efforts paved the way and helped us to establish a rigorous program our degree in professional leadership has become. If you are a graduate of cohorts 1, 2, or 3, would you please stand and be recognized? Thank you. We're delighted and honored to have you all here with us. Please join me in welcoming to the stage my friend and colleague, Dr. Jack Knight.
Converse University and friends, we will now begin the actual hooding process, and we ask our candidates to begin lining up on the left. While they're lining up, I'd like to share a bit of the history of the doctoral hood and the doctoral hooding ceremony. The history of the doctoral hood traces back to medieval Europe. As university students in the 11th and 12th centuries did most of their study and research in cold, unheated libraries, it was common for them to wear hooded robes. While these early uniforms served practical purposes, by the 15th century they were largely symbolic, representing students' commitment to the pursuit of knowledge. Doctoral hooding ceremonies today involve a faculty mentor or advisor placing the hood on the candidate. This process represents the passing of knowledge from one generation to the next, thereby inducting the candidate into the formal community of scholars. The student is also recognized by name, and the title of their dissertation is read aloud. Although candidates formally refer to themselves as doctor upon successfully defending the dissertation, the hooding ceremony is a rite of passage that draws attention to each individual scholar. The actual conferring of the degree will take place at graduation in Spartanburg on May 18th. I will now begin reading each candidate's name and the title of their dissertation. To the candidates, as I read your name, please come forward while I read your dissertation title. You will then stand facing the audience in the marked box and be hooded by Dr. Medford and Dr. Gibbons. You will then be recognized as doctor and exit the stage to the rear. Our first candidate tonight is Emily Faye Brazier. Her dissertation is titled Soft Skill Development in Medical School and Success in Residency, a Phenomenological Research Study. Welcome, Dr. Emily Faye Brazier. Our next candidate is Soteria Williams Broomfield. Her dissertation is titled Examining Gender Equity, the Impact of Leadership Development and Leadership Style on Female Assistant Principals Aspiring to Become High School Principals. Welcome, Dr. Soteria Williams Broomfield. Our next candidate is Teresa Goins-Kerber. Her dissertation is titled Women Engineers, How Golf Affects Their Careers. Welcome, Dr. Teresa Goins-Kerber. Our next candidate is Victoria Lynn Garrett. Her dissertation is titled The Correlation Between Adverse Childhood Experiences and Academic Success for First-Generation Undergraduates Enrolled in Private Four-Year Institutions in South Carolina. Please welcome Dr. Victoria Lynn Garrett. Our next candidate is Megan Rains Georgian. Her dissertation is titled An Exploration of Millennial Employee Retention and Attrition in Post-Pandemic Higher Education. Please welcome Dr. Megan Rains Georgian. Our next candidate is Marav Lee Goldauer. Her dissertation is titled The Impact of Interior Design on Emotional and Cognitive Well-Being in Higher Education. Welcome, Dr. Marav Lee Goldauer. Our next candidate is Matthew Kermit Hammett. His dissertation is titled Self-Care and Institutional Support for the Title IX Administrator through the Framework of Servant Leadership, Navigating Burnout During These Precarious Times in Higher Education. Please welcome Dr. Matthew Kermit Hammett. Our next candidate is Gary Lee Hazelwood. His dissertation is titled Optimizing Return to Play, a Study of Leadership and Knowledge Management in Sports Medicine. Please welcome Dr. Gary Lee Hazelwood. Our next candidate is Betsy Ventura Holler. Her dissertation is titled A Correlational Study Exploring Knowledge Management Theory and Strategic Planning Among South Carolina's K-12 Principals. Please welcome Dr. Betsy Ventura Holler. Our next candidate is Stacy Lee Howell. Her dissertation is titled A Qualitative Study of Parental Advocacy in Special Education. Please welcome Dr. Stacy Lee Howell. Hudson. Her dissertation is titled, "The Effects of LGBTQ+ Youth Disclosure on College Choice and Student Financial Aid Access." Please welcome Dr. Kayla Marie Hudson. Our next candidate is Glenn Zenny McGinnis, Jr. His dissertation is titled, "An Analysis of Youth Activities in Relation to Development of K-12 Leaders." Please welcome Dr. Glenn Zenny McGinnis, Jr. The next candidate is Dion Denise Moritz. Her dissertation is titled, "The Effects of E-Learning and Virtual Instruction in Upstate South Carolina Title I School Districts." Please welcome Dr. Dion Denise Moritz. The next candidate is Shakira Denise Morrison Schufert. Her dissertation is titled, "Differentiated Onboarding, Anticipating Teacher Preparedness at All Levels." Please welcome Dr. Shakira Denise Morrison Schufert. The next candidate is Luan Nicole Neely. Her dissertation is titled, "Adaptive Leadership Strategies for K-12 Stakeholders in Response to COVID-19, Creating a New Epistemology in Education." Please welcome Dr. Luan Nicole Neely. Our next candidate is Zachary Len Nix. His dissertation is titled, "School Transitions and Maslow's Hierarchy, an examination of deficiency needs being satisfied during the transition to a new school." Please welcome Dr. Zachary Len Nix. Our next candidate is Jessica Lynette Rodriguez Higgins. Her dissertation is titled, "Transformational Mentorship, Driving Collaborative Development in High School Teachers." Please welcome Dr. Jessica Lynette Rodriguez Higgins. Our next candidate is Yesenia Ruiz. Her dissertation is titled, "The Strength of the Relationship Between Family Medicine Program Director and Program Coordinator and the Impact on Residents' Well-Being." Please welcome Dr. Yesenia Ruiz. And our final candidate is Dotan Israel Shkoen. His dissertation is titled, "Understanding the Linkage of Leadership Profile Style and Culture Within Healthcare Organizations Based on P.G. Northouse, R. Marion, M. Dupree, and J.B. Peterson Ideologies." Please welcome Dr. Dotan Israel Shkoen. Please join me in congratulating all of our doctoral cohort members. Medford to the podium.
Now we proceed to the McDaniel Awards for Outstanding Dissertation. Each cohort has 2 award winners who will receive a citation and cash awards. The criteria for the award are that, as well as being well-written and researched, that the work has the most far-reaching implications for professional leadership in its content. Dr. McDaniel is with us this evening. Dr. McDaniel, take it away. He joined the faculty at Converse in 1971 as chair of the Department of Education and director of graduate studies. Over the years, Dr. McDaniel served Converse through many different roles. In 1984, he was named Charles A. Dana Professor of Education. In 1993 through 94, he served Converse as interim president and has also been acting dean of the Petrie School of Music, acting dean of the School of Graduate Studies, dean of the College of Arts and Sciences, vice president for academic affairs, and provost. Dr. McDaniel received his BA degree magna cum laude from Hampton-Sydney College and his MLA in Humanities, MAT in English, and PhD from Johns Hopkins University. In all, he is a member of 12 National Honor Societies and has been listed in Who's Who among students of American colleges and universities and Who's Who in America. Dr. McDaniel serves on the committee that has chosen these award winners, along with Jeff Howard and Jane Sidney, one of our alumni. We celebrate and honor Dr. McDaniel's legacy through the Outstanding Dissertation Awards. This year, we are awarding an outstanding qualitative and an outstanding quantitative dissertation. For her work in Women Engineers, How Golf Affects Their Careers, the qualitative award winner is Dr. Teresa Kervin. For his work in school transitions and Maslow's hierarchy and examination of deficiency needs being satisfied during the transition to a new school, the quantitative award goes to Dr. Zachary Nix. Now I would like to welcome Dr. Dion Morris to the podium.
Technical difficulty. One moment, I hear you. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight to celebrate this remarkable achievement. As we embarked on this adventure together, Dr. Gibbons assured us he would be there to guide us when we felt overwhelmed. Little did we know his method of talking us off the ledge was simply to tell us to jump. Each of us encountered our own moments teetering on that ledge or slamming into a mental brick wall but through it all, Dr. Gibbons stood by our side. We all became intimately familiar with a new, rather unpleasant four-letter word. Despite our efforts, our faithful companion Grammarly often led us astray, tempting us with that forbidden T word. For the rest of our days, we'll recall the invaluable lesson that the best dissertation is a finished one. And if the p-value is less than 0.05, we reject the null hypothesis. In conclusion, Dr. Gibbons, the so what of this little talk is to express our profound gratitude for your guidance and encouragement and invaluable feedback throughout this journey. Quite literally, we wouldn't be here without you. Thank you. Now, please welcome Dr. Teresa Kervin to the podium. As we gather here today, I am filled with an overwhelming sense of gratitude and appreciation. It is a privilege to stand before you and express my heartfelt thanks to Dr. Jeffrey Martin, who is one of a kind, as many in our cohort would agree. I've had numerous leaders throughout my career, and this makes me particularly appreciative of the good ones. All of them had great qualities of some kind, but some lacked vision or empathy, while others were resistant to change or simply couldn't make a decision. It is through this experience that I can attest that Dr. Martin defines what author Jim Collins calls a level 5 leader. This type of leader exhibits humility, responsibility, discipline, passion, and chooses the right people for his team. Most importantly, during tumultuous times, this leader provides stability and direction. And I can't think of a more tumultuous time than spending 3 years writing the longest paper of your life. For many, it felt as we were prodded along, while for others, he sternly told us, "That's enough, stop writing." That's me. The stress level was high for all of us, and yet he stood by us with unwavering support, guidance, and encouragement. Dr. Martin was open to change as long as he saw that we could back up our requests with research. He was there to support us not only professionally, but personally in this cohort through the death of a parent and a major health crisis. He cheered with us as we celebrated engagements, marriage, and the birth of sweet little James. Dr. Martin, you have molded us into the leaders you knew we could be, and for that we will be forever grateful to you. I now welcome Dr. Luan Neely to the podium.
Although I have no words to say on paper, I know I came here to speak from my heart. Dr. Leanne Medford has been a jewel to each one of us as a chair of our committee. She has been inspirational, she has been encouraging, she has been the one that we could go to whenever we had an issue or a problem or just needed to talk it out. She's been a blessing to each one of us, and we know that without her, neither one of us would have made it this far. Dr. Medford, you have been an inspiration, not just to this class, but to the classes before us. And you have been a fingerprint in all of our lives. Thank you so much for your undying, not only love, but your encouragement and your perseverance that continues to shine through you every time we see you and even when we don't. Thank you so much for everything you've ever done for us, for the students that are here now and the students to come. We want to say thank you.
come up here and welcome myself. Dr. Gilliam. Well, I know many of my classmates have benefited tremendously from having you on their committees. I consider myself the luckiest of them all to have had you as my chair. You've had so many responsibilities outside of this one, but you always made intentional time for me. Those midday calls and Saturday texts weren't reflective of you. You always made sure that all of my 1 million questions were answered every time. You provided invaluable feedback that pushed me to keep going. You calmed me down and reassured me every time that I wanted to quit, and I can't even count those. You encouraged me to chase my potential and to know my worth. I feel I can speak for my fellow doctors in saying that you fully prepared us for this moment, both within the classroom and beyond. Your positivity and the genuineness of your character shine in everything that you do. I am so grateful for you as an instructor, a chair, a mentor, and now a friend. So, from one newly minted Dr. G to another, thank you. Now it is my honor to welcome Dr. Jeffrey Martin.
Well, Dr. Gibbons and Dr. Medford have allowed me to close out this ceremony, and I'm deeply, deeply grateful for that opportunity. As most of you have heard, this is my last official task with Converse University as I plan to take the next steps to retirement. Following graduation on Saturday, I will complete my 50-year relationship with higher education. What an incredible journey it has been. So I have to say thank you to my colleagues, Dr. Medford, Dr. Gibbons, who have created and nurtured this fantastic program, my buddies, Dr. Knife and Dr. Gilliam, friends and colleagues that I look up to and admire greatly, Helen Landmasser and Kaylee Jones, you're the best. President Hopkins, Provost Wolford, thank you for your vision, thank you for your leadership. My favorite day in higher education is pudding day. Everybody is happy. There are no more classes to attend, papers to write, or desperate emails from your committee chair. The event represents the end of a journey, and like retirement, it is a time to close the door on this chapter. Or is it? Each journey we embark upon, whether finishing a dissertation, retiring, or overcoming a challenge, always leads to new opportunities and experiences, signaling the start of another journey. Your professors have tried to guide you down a road of scholarship, self-confidence, and ethical leadership. Throughout this program, you have delved deeply into the complexities of leadership theory, grappled with real-world challenges, and emerged as visionary leaders to impact the world around you. We gather to celebrate the accumulation of academic achievement and honor each of you who has had a transformative journey in pursuing leadership excellence. Now I want to share an interesting phenomenon about Cohort 4. Think back. Your first class was on August 23, 2021. As we sat together in Classroom A of the University Center, or Room 215 of Coon Hall on campus, we were a loose group of individuals with lots of fear and lots of bewilderment. You expect us to take 20 classes, perform original research, share it with 3 professional researchers, and write a 150-page dissertation in 3 years? Everybody had the same question: how am I going to accomplish this? Now fast forward to today. A common theme emerges when we read the acknowledgments in our dissertations. I want to thank my cohort for supporting me.
We could not have done this with the help of our cohort members. Notice the I became a we, and the power of collective wisdom in undertaking enormous tasks becomes evident. This cohort is successful because 19 members bound together in a mutual goal, which individually felt insurmountable. To paraphrase our dear Dr. Giddens, remember that elephant we had to eat one bite at a time? Well, it's a lot easier if we do it together. A doctorate degree is challenging, takes a tremendous commitment to complete. You've made a lot of sacrifices over the last 3 years. Time away from family, late night writing, rewriting, and rewriting. But most of all, you've gained a considerable amount of knowledge and expertise. You've gained incredible friendships, and you now have earned the right to have an opinion. As you look forward towards graduation on Saturday, remember that while this is the closing of a chapter of your life, the rest of your book remains to be written. You're now a part of the Converse family, and like all families, we remain willing to assist you in writing and completing your book. I know I speak for myself and your professors when I say we're very proud of you and the things that you've accomplished and will accomplish in the future. This is not an ending by any means. This is not a separation. It is an opportunity. It is a reminder to embrace accomplishments as opportunities for new beginnings and to approach life with curiosity and openness to what lies ahead. Some of you may know that Converse University has a tagline. That tagline is "Together we will." How do you complete a dissertation in a doctoral degree? Together. Through the strength of unity and shared vision, we can solve the problems of education in this state. Together. The challenges of poverty and homelessness. Together. Collective wisdom and collective action are powerful forces. How did cohort 4 get here today? Together. Thank you, President Hopkins, Provost Wilford, for building Converse University from such a solid foundation. Together, we will. We will embody the power of collaboration, unity, and collective action. This rallying cry for Valkyrie speaks to the strength of solidarity and the belief that when individuals come together, they can overcome obstacles that stand in their way, as long as we have that key ingredient, leadership. So, what is Converse Together? If you are a graduate of Converse University, please stand. If you're a family member, friend, or guest of an honored graduate, please stand. If you're a member of the faculty or staff of Converse University, please stand. If you're one of the few that are still sitting and you're able to do so, please join all of us in standing. So what is Converse Together? You are. Everyone standing in unity under Converse Together. Together we will. Say it with me. Together we will. So friends and colleagues, thank you. You may sit down. So friends and colleagues, this is not goodbye, but hello to a new adventure. Travel safely. On behalf of President Hopkins, I invite you to the Converse campus this Saturday at 2 o'clock for the graduate commencement. It'll be a good time. I would ask our honored graduates to gather immediately following the ceremony so that we can get a group photograph before you disperse. We will go to the Converse suite to take a group picture. Follow Kaylee. All are reminded that we have a professional photographer with us, so get photos with your family and buddies to remember this special night. It's my honor to say this ceremony is now concluded. God bless you.